I failed. Welcome to the Retrieval tutorial. I know many of you have been waiting for this, so I want to try and get this straight across and clear as possible. It took me about an hour to figure out what Infinity Ward had in their example GSC file. Well, I finally figured out what they were trying to do. Basically, you need to set up your retrieval spawn points for allies and axis. Minimum 16 each, that's what they say. You can get away with one each side just for testing, as far as I know. Then you need to put your intermission. I went ahead and placed one intermission of each game type and one spawn point of each for the other game types. Okay, to get things started off, let's go ahead and make our trigger use. This is almost the same as a search and destroy with the 16 by 16 look to it. Let's change our grid to a 2, get the origin texture. Remember, it needs to be a 4x4 placed on the bottom in the center, just like this. So if you look at it, dead center of the bottom, select them both. We're going to give them a trigger use. While it's selected, press N, pull up your entities. We're going to give it a script game objective name of RE. You can do retrieval or RE. RE is a little simpler. That's the first key. The next, we're going to give it, this is a target name of 1. Since you can have multiple retrieval objects at different places with many different points for them, you can name them 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can use the auto sequence. I'm just going to use target name of 1 just for this tutorial. This can be placed anywhere inside the map. So to do it correct, you would probably just, lift it way up in the air somewhere. Doesn't really matter. The next thing is going to be our goal. This is much like setting the trigger for search and destroy with your origin brush and your trigger texture. So let's go ahead and just create the origin brush. Doesn't matter the size of it, but as long as it's inside the actual trigger area. Roughly centered. Get those laid down. Select this, select that. Right click. This is going to be a trigger multiple. It's also going to have a script game object name of RE, just like so. We're also going to name this with a target name of 1. Make sure you spell these correct, because if you misspell 1, it's not going to work. So before you finish up, just kind of read through it, make sure you spell everything correct. If you misspell it, just fix it. On a real quick note, for every type of object you're going to have as a retrieval, you need to have a trigger use for each one. The goal, which I'm making right here with the origin brush texture, one of those, 2 for each object. And you also need a spawn point for each object. That's the next thing, is a spawn. The spawn is kind of a little more simpler. Just right click, and we need to go to multiplayer, retrieval object. Boom. Should be right there, a little tiny blue box. Press your N, pull up the values for it. And all we need to do is give this a target name of 1. If you want more than one spot, you copy and just move them around. That object will spawn on these positions. The next item is the actual object, which I generally place near my trigger use. So what we need to do is create a script model. You can go ahead and cancel the background out, because you can type it in manually. There are several different types of objectives. There's field radios, there's code books, there's open books, and there's also artillery map. So you basically put field radio underscore objective, code book underscore objective, artillery map underscore objective. It's pretty simple. Once you get that, press return. It turns into a little book or whatever you decided to pick. Of course, this is going to be the script game object name of RE. This next one is a little confusing to some people because it almost resembles the script game object name. This is the script objective name. This is the name we're going to give it for the GSC file. So I'm just going to keep this as 1, make it basic and simple. And this is going to have a target name of retrieval objective. This is what we're going to call this object, is retrieval objective. Retrieval underscore objective. Now we're going to target 1. We're going to target all the 1s. Boom. All these little lines everywhere. Pretty neat. Let's go ahead and compile and see how bad. Another thing I didn't do, in case you guys didn't catch, some of you expert guys out there, I forgot to put an origin in here for you Linux people. So you just create a script origin, wherever it's at. Unselect it. Select your actual origin brush. Control K, and there you go. Then you compile, then you check your GSC. Sorry, I just had to add that in there just to be 100% correct. Copy the new BSP. Paste. Here's our GSC file. It's your basic laid out GSC file. There's things you need to note in here under the retrieval settings. The level objective, remember I told you this is what you name your object. We named it 1. So we just can go ahead and name it 1. That tells you the attackers, the defenders. And in here, these are text. Default text. You can read the GSC file that comes in the Pack 5 maps, MP game types. Read the RE GSC file. There's different ones you can put in here. I'm just using the standard ones for now. Once you get that all squared away, add it to a zip file. It's not going to be a zip, but it's going to be a PK3. PK3, you got to copy it. Put it in your main folder. I also forgot to mention the arena file. You need to have a maps folder. Inside the maps is MP, your GC file, your BSP. You need to have an MP folder with your arena file. The arena file should have the map, the actual name of the map, what you want to call the map in your server options, and all the game types. You need to put RE in there. It won't work if you don't have RE. On another note, when you're going to run this, you also need to have another computer, because this will not work if you only have one computer to test it. So if you don't have another computer, you better trust your judgment. So there's going to be an Axis and an Allied playing the game. We don't want it pure. We're going to dedicated LAN. It's going to be Retrieval. Start it dedicated. Start the next computer up. Now we're going to load just a regular non-dedicated. We're just going to join it. Refresh it, make sure it's there. Double click on it, you should connect. On the second computer, go ahead and join it. If this fails, I'm going to laugh. I spent 4 hours on this and I didn't realize you have to have another computer going. You notice, look at the compass, you've got the star and the goal. It's not going to work till you get another player in it. You can run around all day trying to pick it up, it's not going to work. Pretty simple. Follow it to our goal. And you're all set.